Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review. Today I am going to be petting the cat that's next to me, but also reviewing another entry in a manga series that I have been reading. So for those of you who did not watch Volume 1, I do have a review of Volume 1 on my channel, so be sure to check it out. But I'm going to be reviewing Volume 2 of this series, Kaguya, not Kagayama, this is not Haikyuu, Kaguya-sama, Love is War. So this was actually a viewer recommendation. I had a video where someone left this recommendation for this series below it, and I decided to check it out and give it a read. I was a little apprehensive. I wasn't sure if the premise was strong enough to be entertaining enough to keep me going, but it was, and I highly recommend. And now I'm on Volume 2 and I'm looking to find where I can get Volume 3 because I want to continue this series. The premise of this series, Love is War, is that we have the top two people at a high school. These are the student council president and the student council vice president, Miyuki Shirogane and Kaguya Shinomaya, who have developed feelings for one another. But because they're not normal people, they are the elite of the elite at this elite high school that accepts only the best, only the most prestigious families, and these are the people who will be next year's leaders, politicians, industry leaders. They can't just confess their feelings to one another. It has to become a competition, a game. So our two main characters are trying to get the other person to confess their feelings. They want the other person to confess to them first. So at this point, I feel like they both kind of know that the other person has feelings for them, but they're unwilling to make the first move. So this has become a huge game, or a huge battle of wits. That's probably a better way to put it, to get the other person to make a necessary move. After each encounter, which is how these are all set up, they're like encounters which turn into little games of wit. Let me see if, so this one's battle 14. As you can see, at the end of each little battle, which is just a situation in which they're both trying to maneuver the situation so the other person confesses feelings. They have a battle result. In this one, Kaguya loses because of her astounding. Oh wow, okay. So as you can see, the chapters are set up as battles. So they're encounters between our two characters who want to confess to, well, they don't want to confess to one another. They want the other person to confess to them. There is a third individual named Chika. Chika is also involved with student council. She's a friend of Kaguya Shinomaya, the the girl who's interested in confessing to, who's interested in getting the student council president to confess to her. And Chika kind of knows what's going on a little bit, maybe a tiny bit, but she doesn't really know. She's more just a chaotic force who kind of stirs up the problems and makes these battle of wits more interesting. I think she's super funny and is just the level of randomness needed to make the series entertaining. Initially going into Volume 1, I wasn't really sure if it was going to be entertaining enough to hold my attention, but it wound up being very entertaining and the perfect blend of humor and romance and also just likable characters that I was hooked. So obviously I read Volume 2 and I had a great time. I think this is a really funny series and I want to see where the series goes. I will say there's not really like an external plot driving the story. This is more interactions between the characters. That's why they're set up in those battle sections. So each chapter is one of those battles and it's just kind of an interaction between the characters. I find this series to be very, very funny, and I think if you have not read this series, you need to go pick yourself up a copy of the series immediately because it is so funny and well done. I'm looking for Volume 3. As I said, I'm so glad that someone gave me this recommendation and gave me the push I needed to try this series. And if you have any recommendations, if there are any manga series that you see I haven't read, but maybe you would like me to try reading, please leave it in the comments below. I really love getting suggestions because I think it's the kind of thing that gets me out of the kind of books that I'm going to reach for when I'm at the library. So I really do appreciate the book suggestions. I do try my best to get to all of them. Sometimes I do have to order them from another library, so there might be a little lead time on your suggestions, but I really do appreciate and look at all of them. I'm glad I got this suggestion and I'm excited to see who cracks first, although I have my suspicion on how this is going to play out. It is exciting to see the battle of wits play out in this series. So yeah, let me know your thoughts or recommendations in the comments below. And other than that, thank you so much for watching and I hope you have a great rest of your day.